Hey everyone, hope everyone is having a good day. I just need to check something real fast and make sure everything is good to go. And so far it looks like it is good to go. Let me check one thing over here. Okay. I think we are good. So, awesome guys. We're gonna go feed the chickens. Get all that done. Just getting finalizing everything. So I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Just making sure making sure the sound and everything is working, because that's the one thing that sometimes I don't have set up right. And it looks like it is. Great. Okay, so let's go on out and feed the chickens. Let's go say hi to everyone, see how everyone is doing, and all of that good stuff. We're gonna go feed the chicken. Whoa, what did I do there? We're gonna go feed the chickens. We're gonna go get everything else accomplished and done. And it should be a good time. So yep, should be a good time. So let's go get that done and say hi to everyone. So sorry it's been a while. There's been a lot going on. It's been super busy. As you guys can see, I've got a whole new, if you guys want to see my computer setup, you don't get to see it. That is my, there's my computer. There's kind of my computer setup now. We've done a whole lot of rearranging, a whole lot of moving stuff around. You can hear them right here by the birds, but there's my computer setup, making sure everything is functioning the way it needs to function. And, yeah. It's actually a pretty nice day today. Not too hot, not too cold. For end of December, the fact that I don't have snow on the ground is crazy. So let me give you the exact temperature. Let me look at my thermostat right here, and the exact temperature is, this says it's about 44 degrees, or what is that, about 4.6 C. So nice, very nice. We got the cool, we're going to peek up at the clouds in just a second, but the cool big fluffy clouds to let you know that probably going to get some snow. So let me spin that around so you guys can see it. So there's the big kind of popcorn clouds to let you know that snow is just around the corner. If it stays as warm as it's been, I'm not expecting a whole lot, but with the mildness that it's been so far this December, I am absolutely expecting a crazy January and February. Again, we'll keep up to date with all that. So now that I've got more stuff in line and I've got things set up a little bit better, it should be easier for me to stream more often now. So we just had a lot of little things that needed to be done, and a lot of little things were just, I don't know, it was hard to carry a camera around. Right after the first of the year, I might be getting a GoPro, and the idea behind that is I'll be able to put it on me, and then I should be able to do some streaming and such like that. So if all that works out well, we're going to go that route. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to walk over and we're going to say hi to Sylvia. We had to do a little rearranging with her enclosure the other day because she decided that she was going to get out and tour around the neighborhood. Go figure. So let's walk on over that way. So going to walk down here past the cistern, past the fire pit, and see what Miss Sylvia is doing. Lisa had to go into town to get a couple things, so that's why I am feeding the chickens today. That's why today is Doc Let's Feed the Chickens Day. There's Sylvia sleeping, so you guys can see here in the pine cove where the bees used to be. I've moved all the beehives that we have left over to a new location. That was not a good location, so we're going to be converting that location to where we're going to be putting our outdoor oven. So that's going to be what's there. So Sylvia is, we're going to talk a little quieter because Sylvia is sound asleep. I don't know if you can hear her snoring. But we got a sound asleep piggy right there. Some of the ducks, but she likes having a little of this extra grass. In the spring, I think what we're going to do is I'm going to try to get her off this for a couple days, and I'm going to get a bunch of grass seed, and I'm going to try to reseed this. I mean, it doesn't take long. Like, you can see how muddy, crazy mess this is. And then if I spin around, this looked just like that crazy muddy mess not very long ago. So grass grows really fast here, and I didn't seed this at all. This was just stuff it did all on its own. So this is what you see here is just an experiment. I'm trying out some stuff. I've got a smoker. I've got some extra wood. That was just a smoker that was being trashed. And so trying out some different ideas there. Because that's what we do here. If you're not familiar with what we do here on the farm or on the lab, is we are always trying different experiments, always trying to reuse stuff that we have and try to push the envelope forward and try to just, most of us, you want to get off grid, you live out in the country, you just want to be a little bit sustainable. It's really hard for everyone to do that. So the idea of what we're doing is just showing that little steps at a time, and it doesn't take a whole lot. Even if all you do is ever get 1% off grid, that's 1% more self-reliant. Because if you've been following me long enough, I totally believe in being radically self-reliant. That's one of the things I think is very important, is self-reliant as you can be, and the less control that the machine has over you, the better you are. Plus, it's very rewarding to just kind of make some of your own food, to enjoy some of your own life, to have time being yours. Yes, I know it's a lot of work, me raising chickens and ducks and being out here and raising gardens, but the difference is it's my time. I'm choosing how I spend it, and I am taking control over it. One of the big things we're going to be doing next year in 2022 is, as me and Lisa start putting together ways to actually generate more and more revenue based on the farm, because right now most of my revenue comes from good investments that I've made, or my ability to day trade in crypto. So we've talked about, not everyone has that ability. So me and Lisa's been talking about other ways that we can generate some additional revenue. And I thought, well, as we figure out these new ways to generate additional revenue, it's probably a good idea to share with you guys how we're doing it. Because some of you might say, Doc, I really want to get off. I really want to get out of these cities. I really want to just, but I don't know what I'm going to do for money. I've got a family, or I've got me, or things of that sort. I just got to figure it out. So what we're going to do is I've got some advice that I give you guys, but before I really get in there and tell you the hardcore stuff, I want to show you guys what we're doing and some of the other additional ways that we're going to try to create some additional revenue streams and try to see if that can actually help us offset some of the costs of some of the stuff here, and then we can share this. So things we're going to do in 2022 is we're going to try to breed some queens with the honeybees. We're going to focus on breeding the rabbits and actually selling the rabbits. We're going to bring in some more chickens and such to the farm, and we're going to work on trying to sell eggs again like we did. And then here, me being blessed with having all the acreages that we have here, me and her is going to be developing, at least right now, 5 campsites. We're going to do primitive campsites, but what we're going to be doing is we're going to be putting wood decks down, so people that can come out here, they can camp on the campsites. They can put deck down, and then that little twist, the little twist to our campsites that we're going to have is, since I ran a bed and breakfast for 15 years, I'm very familiar with what kind of breakfast people want and the affordable, quick way to make breakfast. So what we're going to do is, with our campsites, we're going to be offering. We're going to probably offer dinner and breakfast. For dinner, you're going to be able to order pizza, and for breakfast, you'll be able to order one of the 3 types of breakfasts that I really enjoy making. So that's going to be another way we're going to generate some revenue. Lisa's also got into wood burning, and since we have a lot of trees that have fallen, we've got the little cookies. You just chop up little cookies, and she's learning how to wood burn and such like that. So we're going to be doing that, in addition to some of the other stuff that we'll be talking about in the near future. And part of the reason we're doing all this is we want to see how much money we can generate with this, so that when we have other folks out there that say, can't do this, we can say, well, look at these little tricks, learn skills that you have, and find ways to be able to do it to the best of your ability. So that's kind of where we're at. We'll be sharing all that with you as we go on the fun adventures. So also, by the way, guys, I will be doing a show tonight. So for those that might be wondering, we'll be doing another show tonight. It'll probably just be kind of a fun show, more of just a part of getting into the mesoverse again. And for those that are not familiar, the mesoverse is the middle way. So it's finding that balance between interacting with nature and all the crazy technology. So it's finding that middle way, because the middle way is absolutely, I think, the best way to do most everything in the world. So anyways, so let's get some animals fed and go from there. So I think I'll move you guys over here so you guys can maybe see what I'm doing a little bit better. We are here in the bunny barn. For those that have not experienced the bunny barn before, this is the bunny barn. This is where we have a handful of the bunnies live. It's a crazy mess because it's also our catch-all. Back behind this curtain is where a lot of our extra supplies and such go, and then tools and such hang up there, and then the bunnies live in our enclosures that we have in here. There's Fernando, making all the typical Fernando meowing noises that he makes. So it's funny, we're going on 4 years now that I've been raising rabbits. Raising rabbits was never something we planned on doing. But we adopted some rabbits after some of our friends, some crazy events happened and our friends died. So, things of that sort, so. So right now, just getting some food, and we'll be venturing around. Remind me that I have the text a little too dark or a little too light, so it's a hard time reading it. But yes, I've got rabbits. We'll talk a little bit about rabbits. I do suggest, if you are new to homesteading, I would say the 2 animals that are the very best to start off with is chickens and rabbits. And if you happen to live in an area that doesn't allow you to have chickens, quail. Quail are absolutely spectacular. If you want to do some urban homesteading, which I grew up in the inner city, so I have some friends that still live up that way. So when we talk about some of the techniques and such we do on the farm, I still want to be able to help people that live in the urban farming. And in the suburbs and in the cities, you can't always do chickens. Quail are a really good alternative. One of the things that I really like is I really like being able to find the rabbits that have a nice balance, that are good, what I call homesteading rabbits. So we've bred our rabbits together. So some people want pet rabbits, and so that's a good income to sell rabbits for pet rabbits. And other people want eating rabbits. So we've kind of bred together a eating, friends that you can eat is pretty much the term that we use here. And we kind of mixed some of the breeding rabbits, like some of the meat rabbits, with lion heads. And you get a really nice personality of a rabbit, and a rabbit that can be and a rabbit that you can eat. So it kind of makes a balance. Now, of course, we don't eat any of our rabbits here, but we do have folks that are interested in buying our rabbits for that purpose. And that's one of the things that when you run a farm and when you do things like that, you just have to realize that some people are going to use your animals for different ways than you might be in tune for. So it's just kind of, you want to make sure that you can give your rabbits as you're raising them the best quality life, the best life that you possibly can, and sell them and give them away to people that are. Yeah, exactly. As long as they're respected, I agree with that completely. As long as they're respected, it's all good. And down here, I've actually told some people, because we handle some of our rabbits and some of our rabbits are really calm, the thing is, the idea is give your rabbit a wonderful life and then one bad day, or even just one bad minute. So that's kind of the balance here. So this time of year, I mostly just do rabbit. I mostly just spill the rabbit feed on the ground, but that's okay, there's rabbit. Mostly I just do the basic rabbit feed, and then we supplement some hay and some such other stuff in it. But any of our rabbits that live in the cages during the summer times, what we'll do is we'll go through and we'll cut some grass, and we'll grow some other things specifically for the rabbit, and then augment their food that time of year. This time of year, it's a little bit harder. It's harder to find all of the green stuff. Here in southern West Virginia, once I start getting snow on the ground, a lot of the plants and such will start growing heavy. So I do spend more money on rabbit feed this time of year, but in the spring months, I can augment almost 90% of their food just with stuff I can grow in my own garden, or I can just harvest in the wild, like maple. Maple trees are absolutely spectacular. Rabbits will eat the branches, they'll eat the leaves, and everything about them is very good for rabbits. So it's a good way to augment some food. And then there's lots of other stuff that grows really fast. Radishes are a great thing because they love the radish greens, and then you can eat the radishes and you can give all the radish greens to your rabbits. And so then you can find out the balance. And you might be wondering, you also might wonder what are you going to do? Why would you raise rabbits and such like that? So you might say, well, even if you don't want to eat your rabbits and you're not necessarily focusing so much on pets, the future soil that they're creating, the fertilizer, the rabbit poop and all that kind of stuff, the soil building that the rabbits do is just absolutely amazing and something you should know. If you're not utilizing your rabbit soil, it's something you absolutely should know. So guys, here's one of the downfalls. This is why you guys have seen me a handful of times talk about why I really like these rubber stuff. So what I like about these is you guys can see there's a little bit of water in here, but it's also still frozen. And so all you got to do is squish it, and you can get the frozen water out. And I still have quite a bit of water in here. The other cool thing is the rabbits actually learn to deal with that too. So if it's been a little while before you can get out to the barn, it's been a couple hours and it's still frozen, the rabbits can learn to break these rubber ones. So these rubberized bowls, if you have a lot of rabbits, you can't do the heaters, these rubberized bowls are the way to go. So, and we've done that through lots and lots of experiences. I've tried a lot of different things over the course of the years, the 4 years that I've been raising rabbits, the 4 winters, and trying to figure out what is best. Those rubberized bowls, they're a little bit more expensive, but out of everything that we've tried for rabbits, they seem to be the very best. Because one of the key things you want to do is you do want to make sure that your rabbits always have access to fresh water. Surprisingly, this cage down here, actually, the water. So, right now, in the barn, for those who want to see, it actually is 50. It's 50 Fahrenheit here right now in this barn. Almost 51 Fahrenheit. Humidity is a little higher than I like. That's one of the things that you do want to make sure. It's why you hear a fan blowing in the background. Is in your barns, in your chicken barns, in your horse barns, in your rabbit barns, in any type of barn that you're running, you do want the humidity level in the winter to be below 50%, is usually what I strive for. So in here, I've only got 4 families of rabbits in here. So the 4 families are, these guys up here are girls. Down here we also have some girls. Over here we have some young boys. These are young boys that decided that they didn't want to go out in free range, because what we do is when we're not ready to sell our rabbits, or if we have more rabbits than we need to sell, what we do is if they choose that they want to not live in the cage, we let them free range. So we let them go out, we let them free range, we let them hang out on the farm. They run around, and what they choose, if these rabbits choose that they don't want to do that and they want to stay cage bunnies, and they want to live in captivity, that's fine too. And then we make sure that we have suitable housing for them. And then those are rabbits that we we handle as much as possible, because those are the rabbits that we sell or trade, or for people that want pet rabbits and such like that. And yes, rabbits do absolutely breed like rabbits. It is crazy. I don't even try to breed rabbits every year, and we absolutely always have absolutely plenty. So here's another cage, another rubberized bowl. As you guys can see, a little bit of ice in this one. But in general, the ice is not bad, and it was actually really cold. It got down to 18 Fahrenheit last night. Some of you might be wondering, no, I don't use heaters in any of my barns. Part of the reason I don't use heaters is because that gives you a fail point. So if the animal gets used to being warm or gets used to that particular heat, and then the power goes out, which happens quite often here, and the power goes out and that kind of stuff, then you can have a really bad chill and it can make it really bad. So yeah, something else about rabbits. I don't know if you know this, something else that we learned about rabbits is rabbits can hold sperm for a way long time. And so a rabbit cannot be in contact with a male rabbit for months and months and months. Like, I think it's at least 2 litters, and she can keep having litters, at least 2 litters after she's came in contact with the male. So the joke is rabbits are always pregnant, or some people say they're born pregnant. So but that's something to keep in track. Rabbits are always having babies. So, but yeah, it's at least we figured out that it's at least 2 sets of kits that they can have without being access to a male, because we've had that happen a couple times here and we couldn't figure that out. So I talked to some folks that have done some intense rabbit studying and found out that that's really kind of the way to go, is just plan on it. Once a rabbit gets pregnant, just imagine at least 2 sets of babies before she's not going to start having babies again. And as soon as the babies start eating like real food, and they stop drinking milk and that kind of stuff, then she'll actually start her pregnancy cycle again, and she'll start developing more babies. Because I've had a mom who had little rabbits, like about the size of your hand, all fluffed out, running around eating leaves and such like that, and she started having another set of babies. Okay, so we've got everybody in here. We've got everybody in here completely fed. So let's travel on. Let's travel on to the next barn and get them fed in there. So, and then we'll get Sylvia fed and everything else. So this is we're heading into the chicken coop. This is the Kuppenheimer. This is where our ducks and our bunnies live and such like that. So and how our barn is set up is all of our cages are modular. So if you're new to my channel and you don't know, all of my cages are modular. So everything here is modular, where the silkies and such live. And because of them being modular during the summer months, I can actually bring everything else out. So, oh yeah, the sun, we don't have that much long left for the sun. the sun. We'll step outside in just a minute, and I'll show you guys this. The sun is just about to crest the mountain, and since we're still within our 3 days of the shortest days of the year, it won't be long. It won't be long before we don't have any. Before we don't have any sun. I think we have 9. I believe it's right now here in southern West Virginia. We have 9 hours and I don't know, 9 hours and 20 minutes of sunlight is the shortest that we have. So I got a couple bunnies over here. You can't see; they're right under me. So. Yeah, the solstice was the 21st, but I've learned here where I live, the solstice happens, the short days happen for about 4 days after the solstice before maybe I'll pick up a minute. I think I've picked up like 30 seconds or a minute off of the solstice, but there's a pretty big wiggle room where I live. That being said, after that wiggle room, it then picks up and starts going really quickly, so... Yeah, I've never experienced the. I was up in Alaska once and experienced the midnight sun, but I've never experienced dark noon. So one day, perhaps. I will let everybody know the downfall to farming and the downfall to having animals and chickens and such like that is it doesn't give you a lot of time to do any additional traveling. You do end up. You end up staying here on the farm a lot, and you end up spending a lot of time, so you should really like where you live. You should make sure that you enjoy not traveling any more than a couple hours away, because that's about the best I can do for the course of the day. Me getting away for more than 24 hours is extremely rare. I've done it 3 times this year. I've left the house for more than 24 hours 3 times this year, so... And again, and that just doesn't have anything to even do with COVID or anything like that. That's about typical. Like, leaving the house for more than, a couple hours doesn't happen that often. So, yeah, no, I like the balance. I'm actually pretty happy with the weather that we have here. Like, I love snow. Like, I really wish we had snow on the ground right now because it feels like winter. It smells like winter. We should be having snow on the ground, and I'd much prefer it. But I don't think I could deal with. I could deal with it. I don't think I would enjoy like the midnight, regularly the midnight sun and the dark noon. I don't think I would enjoy either one of those. I kind of like here in Appalachia or where I lived up in Ohio. I kind of like that. That's a fairly nice balance. Man, this door is really stuck down here, so... Yeah, and yeah, Terry, mud season. That's what we're in right now, so we joke around right now. It's mud season right now, and that's the one thing is, I don't mind mud, but man, just having these long periods of time of mud is just annoying. Okay, so, hey, Kangaroo Man, Merry Christmas Eve, or for you, Merry Christmas Eve, because you're on the other side of the upside down world. We're gonna head over here, get some more of these guys fed. For those that might not recognize where we are in the Kuppenheimer barn. That is, if you're on D-Live, that is where the Mavis Pharmacy is always playing. And if you're not on D-Live and you're on any of the other sites, that's what usually occurred. That's what's usually playing on this channel. Because I got the cameras right up there, and you guys are watching what's happening. I'm sitting here feeding everyone. Having a good time. making sure everyone is well fed and again, we'll be getting back to once the snow hits the ground. It actually is easy. I know this sounds ridiculously silly, but once the snow hits the ground, then the projects that I'm working on, I don't have to focus so much on them, and so I can actually focus more on doing more Let's Feed the Chicken shows and outside shows and such like that. Or if I get my GoPro that I mentioned earlier, probably right after the first year, I'll be able to pop it on my body someplace, and then it'll make it a whole lot easier. Because it doesn't seem like this should be, but I have to keep my mind sharp, and then when we've got to fix the fence, or when we've got to do other things outside, sometimes it's two-handed, and as much as I love you guys, sometimes the farm is the higher priority of what we're doing. As much as I'd like to show you some of the stuff we're doing, sometimes if I don't have an easy way to pop on a camera and be able to run around, it just makes things more difficult. So that's part of the reason why, again, you haven't seen me a whole lot. There's just lots of really silly things that I need to be focusing on and doing. So yeah, in tonight's show, I am gonna teach you guys. We're gonna watch something on, because I'll be drinking it while we do our Tonight Show. It's one of my favorite drinks. It's called Flip. Oh, it's absolutely spectacular. We'll talk a little bit about Flip. We're gonna talk a little bit about some traditions that I think that here that we just need to start finding ways to do more traditional stuff, or pageantry, or ceremony, or just things to get us reconnected with who we are and funness. So we're gonna talk a little bit about that tonight in tonight's show, which will start about roughly 10 o'clock Eastern time. If you guys you're not used to being a follower of one of my shows. So it's just kind of a hangout. We chit chat. A bunch of people come in. Everybody's welcome to talk. So that's what I'll do about. But let's get back to feeding everyone. I got a bunch of bunnies. Some bunnies looking at me, seeing me have food in my hand, and wondering why I haven't fed them yet. Okay, so got a couple guys over there, so let me spin the camera over there so I can get these guys fed, and then we can head outside and get the other guys out fed, and then we can we'll jump in and get the chickens next, and then to the water. All the bunnies right now are absolutely jamming out to Christmas music. I don't have it playing super loud. But I do have it loud enough that they can hear it, because I don't know if you guys know this trick, but one of the things that I absolutely 100% swear by is always play some type of music inside your barns, around your chickens, anything like that. It really does slow down. It doesn't stop it, but it slows down some of the external predators from coming in. Now, occasionally we do, you guys can see on the stream and such, we have skunks that occasionally come in here, but they don't really bother anybody, so it keeps the predators that are going to eat my animals down, so that's an absolute plus. Okay, we got all the bunnies in here, so let's move over to the chickens. Some of you might be wondering what my chicken feed is, because this time of year, I do a little bit. I actually add a lot more seeds into their feed this time of year. Let me get a couple of scoops and I'll show you guys what it looks like. So part of the reason I make sure that there is a lot of sunflower seeds and such into their mixes, since these guys can't free range, there's not as many bugs for them to get out and eat, I want to make sure that their chicken diet is better. I'm not a big fan of, just as I don't like the food pyramid or the food plate or whatever it's called today, I also don't necessarily think that some of the stuff that we feed our animals, just the pellets or just the mesh is good enough. So I try to figure out what they would eat more in a natural sitting. So since I'm not going to go out and buy a lot of bugs because bugs are really expensive, I'm going to supplement with seeds because a lot of them are going to eat seeds and such like that. That's what they eat a lot in the winters anyways. So I get some good birdseed mix with a variety of birdseed. I supplement some of the stuff that we grow here into the mix, and then I add a little bit of that typical birdseed and such like that. And with doing that, I have really good egg production all year round. That being said, I'm noticing that I'm a little low here on the feed, so if you give me just a second, I think you guys will be able to see what I'm doing here. So we keep all of our feed, we mix all of our feed in a cooler. I just need to grab an extra bag and mix this up. Because if you look right now, we're down to the bottom, there's way too much mesh there, and not enough seeds, so I need to mix this in a little bit better. Hey Beth, how are you? Hope you're having a wonderful day. We're just out here feeding the ducks. Right now I'm mixing a little bit more of the feed in because the feed balance is not. The balance between seeds to laying mesh is not very good at the moment. Oh, Beth, we'll be doing a show again tonight, so if you're interested, just kind of a fun show. We're just going to talk about pageantry and ceremonies and holiday spirit and stuff like that. So here's what this stuff looks like. Not as much. We'll have to get another bag of. We'll get another bag of sunflower seeds. We kind of didn't grow a whole lot of sunflowers this year. We'll get some sunflower seeds, and I really like to try to have a lot of that, that waxy and that high protein and such. Really good for this time of year. So the perk about old coolers, the important thing about getting we'll be talking, Tyler, we're going to be talking a little bit about Christmas and just different types of ceremonies, some of the stuff that I do, some of the stuff I used to do, and maybe some stuff other people do. So it's mostly just going to be talking a lot about Christmas tonight, about 10 o'clock. So I don't know why the D Live. There's also, if you do / X Dr. Firefly on YouTube, if it might be working. That might work as well. I don't know why the D Live and the Twitch aren't working for you, but where was I at? I forget now. If anybody can remember where I was at, we were talking about why I like coolers. So the reason I like especially old broken ones that people are going to throw away, 1, you get to upcycle it. So it's really good this doesn't go to the landfill. 2, mice can't eat in it. So I can put a bag in there, I can close it off, mice won't eat in there. 3, as long as this is nice and dry, even if it's kept inside, and such like that, even if the seal's not that well, you're not going to have a moisture buildup. So you're less likely for your food to go bad and such like that. And it's really hard to get this thing tipped over. You're not gonna worry about anything coming in here and knocking it over and really damaging it. So it's one of the safest ways to store. And you'd be surprised all the time these freezers are going bad for other people and they're looking to throw them away. You just put on there telling people that you're looking for them. Cut the power cord off. You can even take the condenser if that kind of stuff bothers you. You can take the condenser and everything off, and you've got a really, really good, cheap or free, in my case, way to store all your feed extremely safely. Because that's another thing that's important to talk about when you're farming and raising animals and homesteading and trying to be as sustainable as possible, is finding as many ways to get free stuff and to reuse everything possible. So in the spring, we're going to talk more and more about how to reuse your pop bottles and your plastic bottles and such like that to do seed starters. But let me show you another little thing, another little trick that you can reuse. So for our rabbits, we use these as water feeders. For our chickens, we use these as water feeders for our chickens and such like that. Because even if these break or something, we're usually getting these for free, or maybe we go and buy a handful of these for cheap. But these do a really good job. A lot of times they're free because we're getting them with some of the meals that people might be getting, or some of our neighbors are getting some of the meals, and so they'll bring us some of their extra ones over to here. And so we use these to hold the water in, and they do a good job of keeping water. And if they break, no big deal. We're at least giving them a second home and using them again. So let me move you guys over here. I'm going to get over here and feed a couple guys. I don't know, see if I can balance you. How's this balance working? Ooh, look at that. Why did I do that? That's not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to come. We're just going to go like this. Gimbal says no. Okay. There we go. Okay, so what we're going to get over here, I'm going to get all these guys fed. We're going to have a little bit of water. And that's where we're going to be at. So what we do in our cages is we practice deep litter during the winter. So what deep litter is you put down sand. So you clean out your cage really well. You put down some sand, and you put some wood chips, and then you put down some hay, and then I usually put some diatomaceous earth, and then I get some oak leaves, and I put some oak leaves down. And that's kind of the balance that I have. And in the spring, you have spectacular, really, really good compost dirt. So sometimes on the lower end, it's already mixed up really well and ready to go. On the higher end, it's still a lot of hay and such like that. So you might have to pick off some of the top. But it seems to be a great way. I don't actually I don't clean it out during the winter months. All we do is add some more leaves and a little bit of hay on top of it. And then we really wanted them to get in there and dig it up, because what they're doing is they're composting their own poop, they're composting their pee, they're composting any leftover seeds, they're breaking up the hay and the wood chips and the straw, and they're mixing in with the sand, and they're just creating a really, really good soil that as soon as I'm ready to take these chickens outside, I can then go in there and I can harvest all that. And a lot of that has been calmed down enough that I can put that right into the garden. Because the one thing about chicken poop is it's really high in nitrogen, and sometimes it burns out some plants. But if you've got it nice, calm, and mixed between, the seasons, and you've got the leaves, and you've got the hay, and you've got the sand and such to calm it down, it's pretty much ready to go. And you didn't really have to do any work. So you're kind of letting the chickens do all the work, and they're staying nice and healthy. They're getting to mix in there and draw all that up for you, and you can be lazy and you don't have to clean. So. Because one of the things that I really like about my style of farming and permaculture is, well, we're lazy. Because let's just be honest, most people are lazy, and so that's one of the deep litter techniques. Is one of the ways. So we also, I don't know if you guys know this, we also practice stun. That's one of the ways that we we lab our trees. What it is called, we pretty much just neglect. We pretty much just neglect the trees and let them do whatever they need to do to survive. And the ones that survive, great. The ones that don't probably weren't meant to live here anyways. I don't know if you guys have, if any of you guys were heard a couple weeks ago, I was talking about one of the ways to save the world, because I like to always try to figure out ways that we can save the world together. And one of the ways I think everyone that's watching right now can do their little part to save the world is every time you eat an apple and you have some apple seeds, just plant those apple seeds. Find any place to plant them apple seeds, in your backyard, in a local park, back deep in the woods, even in an empty lot. The two benefits of planting all of your apple seeds, the two reasons I suggest that, is one, it's going to sequester a little bit of carbon. So they're going to sequester some carbon, and so if we need to sequester carbon for whatever reason, not saying we do, but let's just say that there's a chance we need to, then you can sequester some carbon. Two is, over time, it's going to create food, and who doesn't like food? Food for homeless, food for other people. And the third thing it does is, if the tree's not in a good spot, we can cut that tree down and we can burn that tree and we can turn it into power. We can either turn it into heat, or we can turn it into ways to generate more electricity, or we can use it for, I don't know, whatever else. We can make marshmallows and cook food over it. So simply planting apple trees we're going to cover most of the bases. And it doesn't matter which side of the fence you're on. It doesn't matter if you're extreme left, extreme right, right down the center. There is a benefit for you planting apple trees. You're making the world a little bit better, regardless of what you believe. And it's a way to unify us instead of divide us. So, as I suggest, eat your apples, save your apple seeds, get some time, and plant them whenever you get the opportunity to do that. The Johnny Appleseed tactic on how to save the world. So I've got lots of little tactics, but that's the easiest first step. Being super lazy, saving the world. That way. Oh, absolutely, Terry. No, I just happen to pick on apples, but you're absolutely right. Any fruit that you eat, you should do. Part of the reason I pick on apples is because most of the time there's 5 or 6 apple seeds, and so you have the probability of planting 5 or 6 apples, which most of the time with pears and such like that, it's only 1. So yeah, you can just plant the whole core if you wanted. If you're super lazy, just when you're done eating, just plant that whole bad boy, or whatever fruit you're eating. Crunch, 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 done. Plant that whole bad boy, and maybe a little group of apple trees will come up. Who cares? A couple of them will survive enough to be able to either create food, wood, or sequester carbon. Win-win. That's all it is. Win-win. That's all we're looking for here. We're looking for lazy win-win. I can also tell you what's really cool is being able to walk in the woods and find an old apple tree of an apple I've never eaten before, and just being able to eat apples off of that. And I'm just like, that is really cool. Like, I don't know if the animals planted it, if a person planted it, how this apple tree got here. Been able to eat apples just right off of a tree that was just kind of growing in the woods, even if they're bitter and maybe not that tasty. I can bring them back, give them my chickens, or I can eat some of that, or we can make, apple tarts out of them. Lots of cool stuff you can do. So. No, you are right. You're right, Kangaroo. They were definitely not going to be happy. But, you can cut the tops off of them and give them half of the apple core. There you go. Split the difference. Give them half of it and put the other half in the ground. Because the horses probably really don't like the seeds. They just want the kind of extra greens. let me get these guys fed, and I will jump in here, and we'll pop up here, and I'll grab one of these baby silkies as soon as I got a couple more guys to get in here, and I'll grab one of these baby silkies for you guys to see. Silkies, again, going back, silkies are probably the best beginner chicken for anyone to raise. It doesn't matter if you live in the city, in the suburbs, in the country. If you're gonna get chickens and you want to figure out like what kind of chickens you want to have silkies on your farm. Let me grab a silkie, let me get these guys fed, and then I'll explain to you guys more in just a minute why silkies are probably the best beginner chicken to start off. Just a couple more guys over there, and we'll be ready. Okay, now, the thing about silkies is silkies are smaller chickens, so they're more bantam, so they're not going to be the best for free ranging. So, and we're going to start out with the negative aspects of silkies. So the negative aspect of silkies is they're not going to be able to free range the same way your other chickens are. So you're definitely going to need to give them an enclosure, you're going to need to protect them, give them a little extra protection. Silkies, their other downfall is they're very broody. So what that means is when they see an egg or an egg-like object, they want to spend time sitting on it, and they want to try to hatch it. So those are kind of the two big downfalls of silkies. Other than that, everything else is going to be upside. So the boys, extremely nice. You can keep multiple boys in the same cage together, and you don't got to worry about. You're gonna have some picking, but you're not gonna have that crazy cockfighting that you're gonna have when you mix other chickens together. The moms and dads, the roux and the hens, are going to do a real good job raising baby chicks. So you're not going to have to worry about a mean rooster picking on the baby chicken. The other thing is silkies will incubate anything. And I mean anything. If they think they can sit on it, they're going to sit on it. They'll raise duck eggs. They've raised chickens, ducks, quail, cars. I've heard people, I've not tried it yet, but I'll probably put peacocks under them. They'll raise guineas, as you guys can see right there. There's a handful of guineas in that cage. When my baby, when we had a problem and had to move around baby rabbits in the middle of the winter, I stuck them under hens, and the silky hens would sit on the baby, the baby rabbits and keep them nice and warm. So there's lots of benefits on why silkies are a absolute must to have in your thing. One, they're a great farmhand. You don't have to buy an incubator. You don't have to buy a brooder. And incubators and brooders are really, really expensive. And they cost a lot of power. And it's just an endless thing. Whereas silky, you're going to have some of them anyways. They're going to be doing the incubating and the brooding for you. They're going to be turning the egg perfectly, so you don't got to pay any attention to any of that. But they're doing that. The brooding, they're going to do that. But they're also going to be able to teach the chickens, the baby chicken language. And that sounds crazy, but they need to learn chicken language, because what chicken language tells them, it tells them where the good food is, it tells them when the predators are coming by, and it tells them some of the other stuff. So oh yeah, peacocks are extremely noisy. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, like, peacocks are fun. They are just loud, crazy, noisy birds. But, you know, why not have a couple fun ones? Plus, you can make quite a bit off of the peacock feathers, especially the male peacock feathers. So let me grab a silky. Here is one of the silkies. So as you guys can see, if you notice, they look really fluffy. Part of the reason is they have a genetic thing where their feathers don't connect. So you see how their wing feathers are kind of connecting here, and they don't look fluffy, and they look nice and smooth, and the rest of their feathers kind of look ruffled. What happens is at the end of most silky feathers is they don't connect right. So the bird can't fly. So silkies do not have the ability to fly. But I just took her away from food, so she's pretty angry about that. But as you can see, they've got little rose combs. If you notice really closely, they have actually black skin. So they're actually completely black skin rabbit. They have 5 toes. Sometimes they'll have more than 5 toes, and they're extremely soft. They feel like petting a stuffed animal, and they're super chill. Like even with this girl acting up like this, they're still super chill chickens. So I just took her away from eating food, so that's why she's not so chill. So if you have a farm and you're gonna raise chickens and you want to breed your own chickens, silkies are a must. Best beginner chicken. Everybody should have probably a couple hens, a little flock on their farm if you're gonna be raising chickens. They're just one of the more useful farm hands that you possibly can have. So again, I like my animals to work with me. I like to be able to not just use them for food, not just use them for fertilizer. I like to have as many jobs as they possibly can and try to utilize all of her jobs. Like with Sylvia the pig, not only is she like our garbage disposal, so we don't have to worry about that, she also keeps the bears away. I can move her around and she'll till up the soil for me. And so, you know, she's got multiple purposes, which we're going to go see her in just a minute. Next, I'm going to go through and make sure everybody's got some water. So we're going to do that next. So I'm going to walk down just there. You can see the water container. I'm going to go get that water container. I'm going to fill up some water. I'm going to go around and get everybody watered up. One of the things I do highly suggest is getting yourself a good just water pitcher. I know this sounds crazy, but this is one of the biggest things that we've done that made things so much easier for us on the farm, is getting yourself a water jug with a pour spout, especially when you're using those little containers. Like I said, makes it really easy to just make sure you got everybody watered, and you don't have to lug around really heavy stuff, because these water containers, they're 5 gallons of water, so they're pretty heavy. I'm not saying you don't want to get buff, and you know, I like to water I like to keep them around and help, you know, build up strength and stuff, but sometimes when you're watering, it's just easier just to have a container. So in the way we have it set up, we make it easier, so you're going to see me do it on the next couple. We've actually brought the stuff up to the edge, so that way we can just kind of pour it right into the side and make it really easy to give everybody watered. So it looks like he's on a loop. I can guarantee that none of the chickens are on a loop. All my chooks are real, no animatronics here at all on the farm. Okay, everyone is fed and watered in the barn, so we're now going to head over, and we've got the bunny apartments, and then we have the the handy run. So the handy run's our future greenhouse, but right now we just needed some extra, a little extra space. Let me fill this up with water, so I got some extra water to take it with. Scooper, water, camera. Let's go. Oh, here, you guys wanted to see the sun is it's not quite over. It's about right there, not quite over the mountain yet, but it won't be long before the sun dips down over the mountain and we'll lose sunlight. So here we are going into the bunny barn. This is the handy run. This is where we will be keeping we'll be growing some food in here in the near future, or possibly if we don't end up doing that, this will be the spot for this will be the spot that we'll be adding some more. We'll be adding the more chickens. This might end up turning into being a chicken adventure where the chickens live. Okay, let's get these guys a little bit of water in here, and we'll be good to go. Okay, now let's head on over to, I still got to get the bunnies in the bunny apartments, and then we'll give Sylvia, or freshen Sylvia up. Here, if you want to see how, you guys can see how much of the sun is just burning my shadow onto the side of the building. So let me get this spun around, get this last little bit ready. So our bunny apartments are where the bunnies all live outside. And we also, I'll show you guys, we'll walk over that way so you guys can see where the bunny. So the bunny apartments are some cages, because the one thing about bunnies, they can withstand cold very well. It's hot that they don't like. So now we do keep the breeze off of them, so we have put greenhouse around most of the enclosures for them to hang out in. We have put plastic. You guys will see as we get up closer how we have greenhouse plastic and such around. Now the thing is I don't have it on the back, and that way gives it a little bit so they can breathe. So if you look back there, you'll notice that there's not really any plastic there on the sides and such on the back, so it gives it plenty of room to breathe. Fernando, you're not a bunny. You need to get out of the bunny house. You don't live in there. And he's, so Fernando is and the bunnies don't mind. He's grown up with the bunnies. He'll eat the baby bunnies, but he doesn't bother adult bunnies at all. So there's not anything I really need to worry about. So again, perk of the one good thing about those little things is they do really well. As you guys can see, I just was able to pick this up and pull this right out. So continue on to the next one. So, yeah, Terry, sometimes I really think that that's true. Sometimes I really think that he tries to identify as anything other than a cat. So some days he thinks today he wants bunny food, so he's going to identify as a bunny so he can get bunny food. Some days he jumps into chicken and tries to, like, look, see, watch. This is bunny food. Okay, this is grass, just so you know. Bunny food is mostly grass. And look at that. He's just chomping away as if it's just regular cat food. He'll also get in there and he'll eat eggs. And he eats fish food as well. I don't know if, like, when we feed our fish, he decides to go in there and eat our fish food as well. So. He's just a really weird, general farm kitty, so. And he likes attention. He likes to give you guys, he likes as much attention as he possibly can get. So look, that wasn't too bad. This has got one of the rubber ones, so not too bad. Hey man, thank you so much for the glory of Christ. So glad to have you around. So glad to see you on the Mavis Pharmacy page. Again, those that maybe some of you don't know, but if you ever want to see what's going on my farm about 24/7, you guys are if you're on D Live, you guys can jump on to the D Live channel, the Mavis Pharmacy page. Exclamation! It's just at pharmacy spelled with an F, and we've got the stream going 24/7. That's Lisa's channel. We got that going 24/7, so you can always see what's going on the farm. And if you're not, it's on the Twitch. And the Twitch page, you guys can watch it. It's also on the Facebook page, but for some reason Facebook only lets me do like 3 hours. So if you really want to see what's going on, D Live and Twitch, and again on Twitch it's X Dr. Firefly, the channel you're currently watching, and on D Live it's Mavis Pharmacy. So right now we're just jamming out on that channel. We're just jamming out the Christmas music and animals, the same thing the animals are listening to. And such like that. If you guys want to see the other side of the bunnies, so there's the other side of the bunnies. So, oh, and yeah, and thank you so much for that link right there. If you guys see that link right there, if you guys want to help out, if you happen to be Amazon shoppers, if you go to Amazon Smile and you use my nonprofit, the Mavis Institute, 0.5% of everything that you buy on Amazon, Amazon donates back to me, and so it really helps me out a lot. That little bit of money, shop at Amazon anyways. At least then we can stick it to the man and get a little bit of our money back from Amazon. And what it does is it really does help out the nonprofit. It really helps out around here. A lot of that pays for the food. It pays for the programs that we do. Because I do a lot of, I used to do a lot of outreach programs, and I plan on returning a lot of those outreach programs and doing some in-reach programs this year. So we're going to do a bunch of cool stuff. Here on the farm, hopefully next year. So, but yeah, like that's just it's just an easy way to help. And again, thank you so much for the glory of Christ for the reminder of that, and just a way to help. And again, if you don't use Amazon, that's cool. I get it. You know, to each their own. But that is that's just one simple easy way. One simple way to help, just by watching and just hanging out with me and just being here while I feed everyone is enough, because it's always nice to know that there's people watching, people interacting, people wanting to see what's going on. That just gives me the inspiration of wanting to keep doing more stuff like that. So, you know, because I know a lot of us, you know, times are tough. and we're all trying to figure out ways to just do whatever we can just for us to survive, because I know that it can be tough I know what it's like for me, and I'm absolutely blessed, and so I know what it's like for everybody else out there. So just kind of trying to share a little bit of the farm, trying to keep the scariness away, because again, maybe you can't do it yet, but you want to move towards it, and it's something you want to do in the next couple years. I'm here. If you need more direct one-on-one conversation with me, and you really want just some help, some advice, !Discord. You can join the Discord. Now we talk about lots of crazy stuff on there. Just forewarned, like, we talk about lots of stuff, but there is a whole farming section and off-grid section and just things of just some advice to help out with stuff like that. And again, I'm also here, guys, if any of you just, with the holiday season coming up, I know it can be really tough, and it can be lonely, and it can just be crazy. If you ever have any crazy, lonely, just crazy thoughts, and you just need help, you just need someone to talk to, or you just need an ear to listen or anything like that, hook me up. Find me on Discord. Send me an email. If you go to my website, you can even find my phone number there on the bottom and send me a text or give me a call. If any way I can help, I know what it's like. I lived here by myself for 5 years, completely by myself, while my family was up in Ohio, and before I met Lisa as my partner. So I know what it's like to feel lonely. I know what it's like to just feel down and out, but I want to give you some of the tips that I learned on what hope is, and how to achieve awesomeness, and how however bad you think it is, it's not. We can get through it. So just keep that in mind, guys. If anybody needs to reach out, I'm here, because I got nothing else better to do. I'll just pop you in my ear, and we'll go do some chores, and we can talk about stuff. Or you can join the Discord, and there's always great, awesome people to talk to on the Discord. So, or if you're just a little bit more private and you just want to send some emails or text, those are all there too. And I just want to make sure, I always forget, like, I probably don't mention that enough, but I just want to mention, like, that's just, in this time of absolute craziness, you just need to know that there really is genuinely people out there that want to listen, that want to help, that want to do what we can. And I don't know what I can do. Like, I can listen and give you silly ideas and give you hope and talk about ducks and chickens, but it might be, I don't know. Anyways, you can see a lot of stuff's going on behind me. Let's go get Sylvia some food. So this time of year, there's nothing going on with the bees. The bees are kind of boring. They're sleeping, except for the bees in my house, which yesterday they snuck out of one of the containers. So I have a hive that wasn't doing very well going into winter. So I brought it into my house. Yes, into my house, into my game room, or my living room, however you want to refer to my room as. And so I had bees, and a couple of them snuck out, and I had to capture them and move them. So how do you tell male rabbits from female rabbits? The same way you tell male boys from females. I was gonna say female boys, but I'm not that woke yet. So when they're young, it's a little bit harder, but when they get older, when their balls drop, it becomes a lot easier, because you can just kind of pick up a rabbit. I don't know if I can do it one-handed. Let's see. Let's see if I can do this one-handed, and I'll show you guys. Okay, I got a little crazy guy right here. This is if you guys watch the bunnies grow up, this was one of those little bunnies that you watch grow up in the video camera in the stream. Okay, so if you guys look right here, go where typical animals are. When the bunny rabbit gets larger, right here and right here, you're going to see balls, of course. But let's say that this rabbit's young, like this one. So what you're going to do is right here, you're going to push just slightly there on their stomach, and you can see how this one is a boy. So that is really all it is. There's a little spot that you just push a little bit, and if something pops out, if something pops out, it's a boy. If it doesn't, it's a girl. Now, don't get me wrong. While they're still young, you can be wrong. So something to keep in mind. So just keep that in mind, that you can actually be wrong, and sometimes they can hide their gender from you, or they can pretend that they're something that they're not, because I've misgendered a couple boys a handful of times and stuck some boys in with some girls, and that's how you get more baby bunnies. But because sometimes sometimes the boys are really smart and they're like, really, shh, I'm a girl, and then they go off and then they have fun with all the other girls. So just things you got to be careful about. But in general, that's pretty much as simple as it is. That's pretty much how you deal with it. So, yeah. Again, when I have Lisa here or something else, we'll get to a more. We'll get down to a more in the spring when you're gonna have lots of bunnies and it's bunny season and more people are thinking about doing it. Though I will tell you though, the other thing you can do is the personality. Male rabbits are really chill. Like if you're gonna have a rabbit in your house for a pet, you want a boy. Boys are super chill, so they're a lot more chill than the girls are. You can pick them up. They like to sit in your lap more often. You can pet them more. They're just more of a general chill type rabbit. So if you're looking for pets and you don't want more baby bunnies, you want a boy. So I'm gonna put this guy back. Okay, so we were in here to get some food for Miss Sylvia. So I got some food for Miss Sylvia, and let's adventure on. Oh, here, guys, you see some of my rabbits free range. So you guys can see some of the rabbits just hanging out right there on the edge, mowing some grass. So they do a good job of keeping the grass mowed on in the road and on banks and things of that sort. So let's zoom back a little bit, because even though it's got the gimbal, if I'm zoomed in really far, sometimes the bounces can not be well. Let's peek over here at the swell. So this is a seasonal swell I have. This was actually completely frozen over earlier today. You guys will still be able to see some of the ice, but ducks actually know how to break up ice. So you guys can see there's still a little bit of ice here and there, but ducks actually, they'll jump on the ice, they'll use their bills, they'll find the spots and break it up until they can get to the point where they've broken up all of the ice, and then they can jump around and swim in them. So pretty cool. You guys saw the sun earlier? If you guys look, sun is right there, so it's already crested. It's already crested the mountains. So it'll be getting dusk sooner and sooner now. So problem with my yard this time of year is it looks like a crazy mess. It's mud season, and nothing's in full beautiful bloom. So my farm looks like a mess. And part of it is a mess, just to be honest. Like part of it is just chores and different projects that I didn't quite get finished. This is actually done on purpose. This helps us bank this up. This is going to get crushed down in the winter, and then I'll be able to put some dirt on that and start a nice little mound and be able to grow some good stuff onto that. So we're going to keep walking over this way. Walking to the back part to give Sylvia some food. Let's see if she's out. If she's not out here, we'll have to walk over and put it close to her house. I don't see Sylvia. She might be hanging out in her house. And if she's hanging out in her house, I'll put some food by her house. So this is usually her breakfast spot. Right through here, you guys can see there's a little bit of corn sitting on the ground right here. A little bit of corn sitting right here, but this is more of her breakfast spot. So what we did is the fence used to run right here. You can kind of see where the grass line is. I bought the fence here, and then the fence used to go back to the backside, and I brought the fence up more. Part of it is because I want to reseed some of that. I want to get that green again, so then I can put her up there, and then we're just going to be doing some moving around so that she's got some more areas. Because right here, you guys can see how nice and green this is. A year and a half ago, this was all that muddy mess like you saw over there, and it grew back pretty quickly. future hydroponic project. Because, you know, my yard's just full of absolutely crazy projects. One of my cisterns, that's half the way I catch my rainwater, not the little one. That's just a fun experiment. That's where we catch a lot of the rainwater, but it also gets fed underground. So we got that as well. So lots of cool things. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna feed Sylvia, and then we're gonna walk out to my garden, what's called the Justin garden, the just-in-time garden. I'm gonna show you guys what it's looking like this winter and some of the stuff we're gonna do with it in the spring to definitely do some expansion. We did really, really well in that garden plot this year. I think when all said and done, I think there was like 600-700 pounds of food that we extracted from it, and I did almost no maintenance to it. It was just kind of like a lazy, just kind of a second thought. Just kind of, I was really late in the year and decided I should try to stick some stuff out. So you guys can see we got a piggy nose hanging out right there. I'm gonna give Sylvia a little bit of food. So, oh, she ate a lot of it, Mark. She definitely ate a lot of it, but I was going to show you, I still have some stuff laid out to do some bigger expansions of it. And she helped me with some stuff already that I didn't need to do, so I was able to put down some hay on top of what she had already cleared out for me. So, but I wanted to show you guys some of the stuff because of what she did. It prompted me to get out here and to set some stuff up for early spring, so I can start getting some of the stuff in set up and ready to go. So let's get past here, and wind blew down my fence. You know, that's how strong I put up that fence. This wind blew it down. So my hay field. Here's Flat Top, if any of you guys want to know what downtown Flat Top looked like. This is the community I live in. Beautiful, beautiful little town of Flat Top. So, but yeah, on my pine, this is my little, if you guys can see these black things right here, these are my fruit trees that I planted this year. So, I planted, I figured out 60 some, close to 70 trees I planted this year, way under what I was planning on doing, but still got about 60 trees in this year, variety of trees. A good portion of them were fruit trees. Okay, so since Sylvia had torn up some of the stuff, I'd actually put some hay down in here. So under this is where she tore up a little bit, but there's also some potatoes. So that's going to be for potatoes. I'm working on, she tore down a bunch of stuff here. Here's what she went through, and I had some corn left over here. She ended up eating all of the corn that was left on here, and any little bit that left over. So, and there's a couple, you can't really see it, but there's a couple ruts that she put through here and got some other stuff that was down here. So she did a good job of really getting into that. Here is this is the Stormy Daniels hive. This is the hive that I'm just trying this fun experiment with. I put it inside of a dog igloo. I put some insulation on the wind blowing side, and the sun will shine down and penetrate into that. Pretty much right where Fernando's sticking his head is where the bees come in and out. And so just trying to see, we're going to give that a shot. Right behind this, I've been scything this the last couple days, so I've scythed all of that up until this particular point. We're going to put pumpkins, especially with the grade of this hill. We think this is going to be a good spot to do pumpkins. And then right where that wood is, we're going to dig a ditch, and we're going to put a swell in. We're going to put a swell in right there. And then I'm going to finish scything all of this up there to the farm fence. We're going to put a swell in, and then we're going to put plants on both sides. Where did Fernando go? Really? Really, Fernando? Okay, well, Fernando can get in there, I just learned. So I guess if he decides he wants to cuddle up next to the bees, he can get in there as well. Oh, let me show you guys. So I don't think I've ever walked down here with you guys before. So I'm going to show you guys one of the spots where I might one of the spots where we might end up putting so I can show you guys that we're gonna walk right to about right there. That's one of the spots where I'm gonna put a camping site. Oh, for those that didn't know, this is the for the cemetery graveyard that I have on my property. Here is the cemetery. Everybody was planted before. I'm pretty sure everybody was planted before I was born. I think the most recent person is in the 70s. So that's the way to the pond for those that have seen me walk on the pond. And we will walk on the pond again this year if it freezes solid, and hopefully it won't fall in. But we will do that. We will do that next year. So I'm purposely letting all of this brush build up here because that's going to be nice. It's going to be nice habitat for a variety of such in the future. And then I'll probably end up dropping this to build up this bank right there and then keep that nice brush up. Because always looking for ways to add more habitat on the property for things. Plus it'll be a good place I can plant some blackberry and raspberry bushes around it and have some nice glimpse. Also, this is cool. One of the things that's really cool, because I didn't have one when I lived in Ohio, but we've got holly trees. So this holly tree is about 4 years old. I noticed it about 4 years ago and I just let it stay here. So it's really cool. It's really cool to have holly trees growing around it. It's so crazy how sharp and spiky the leaves are. They're nice and firm and sharp and spiky leaves. So, and hey, Chris, and thank you for the compliment on my property. I absolutely appreciate it. So, yeah, I got, 16 years ago, got lucky to find this beautiful piece of property here. And with my house that was built in my house that was built in 1897. So we're just going to walk up right up here to the edge. I'm going to show you one of the spots because like I said, I'm going to be adding campsites and such in, so in the future. But I also don't want to eat so much. I don't want to eat too much of my my hayfield away because I really use the hayfield. But I also need to be utilizing my pasture over here a little bit more. And so just trying to figure out ways. Right now I have the disc golf going through the pasture, but trying to do some other stuff. And plus, part of the reason I want to do, I want to starting off with a campsite here until I can ultimately build a cabin. And the cabin's ultimately going to be off-grid, but while I'm building it, it would be really nice to have access to power. And so you see power right there. But the other cool thing is even if I can't get even if I don't do power, internet. And since I know I like internet, so that's one of the tricks that I want to do. So right here, these are actually all the pine trees that I planted, but I want to put a campsite in right here, come right off the road, not too far. Once I get the campsite in, I'll put a hedge. I'll build a hedge right there. I build a nice hedge right there onto the road. And I only have to put one telephone pole. I only have to put one telephone pole in. And then when I build my off-grid cabin, because it's funny, you say that, Chris, but one of the things that I got when I ran a B&B is even though my house is about that far off of the road down a gravel road, people were complaining that I was too far out there. And so like being able to pop one right here and being able to have power. Now this is one of the spots. So another spot we're going to put a cabin is we're going to put a cabin up there. So for folks that want something a little bit more far away, I'm trying to do that nice balance for everyone, looking for just about everyone. For the folks that, want to have more of that suburban feel, and then the folks that want to be out there in the middle of nowhere. The perk is my property kind of offers the opportunity for both, because with the 33 acres here, I've got that 7 acres up here. This is about 14 acres, and then up and then back down the backside of the mountain is whatever's left over from that math. So like 20 some acres or something. So having a nice diversity of different types of property for people. Leland cypress, okay. Yeah, I was what I was gonna probably end up doing is putting up a privacy fence, and then I was gonna plant some spruce, because I planted all those spruce, but that took about 10 years to get that. But I'll look at a Leland cypress, and if Leland cypress might be a better option, I'll definitely look into that. So, and in 19, even though that's a main route, it's not really that busy. I mean, it's busy enough for me. I'm on board with you. I wouldn't want to live right next to that. But with where we're going right now, I think it's absolutely perfect. So let me show you over here. I want to show you my elderberry patch. And so my elderberry patch is another thing that I prize and I think is absolutely spectacular and such like that. So right through here is, yeah, having a real fence has its values. I just also like the feeling of someone being more tucked away, so I can take down the fence, and so I don't have to worry so much about necessarily having the fence. So right through here, where you see the fencing around all of this, this is where this is my elderberries. So, and right through here is this is where I grow and foster the elderberries for the medicine and such that I make. So this is right, I know this is right smack dab right in the middle of my hayfield, but I noticed that elderberries started growing here. And so while the elderberries started growing here, I thought I might as well just, stick with where nature wants things to grow on their own. And so even though, like you see, it's literally right smack in the middle of my hayfield, I've just kind of roped this off, and I have just set this up so that this is a really good spot for, it's just been a really good spot for elderberries. And I got a lot of elderberries off of this spot this year. So it was absolutely spectacular. Super, super excited with all the elderberries that we ended up getting. So yeah, absolutely great. So oh, you were talking about so yeah, a little bit of chemtrailing today, unfortunately. Nothing too crazy. It's in the last couple days it's been absolutely ridiculous. So not too awful crazy today, but still pretty good. So we're gonna head up. Let me put my shoes on. Let me put the camera down. We're gonna head up there to that up there, so you guys get to sit here for just a second while I get my shoes nice and tied. So I also make sure I have a lot of choke cherry. I don't know if you guys are familiar with choke cherries, but I also make choke cherry medicine. Choke cherry medicine is really good for cough medicine, and to deal with a lot of the silliness that's going on right now. It's just a good anti-flu. It's just a really good anti-flu medicine that works really, really well. That works really, really good as well. So let me put this here. Let me go over here. I need to cross over this way. So okay. So let's I'm gonna head over first. Let me get this back into my. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna head down here to where the trees have fallen, and so I can explain to you more about what this plan of action is down here. I think I showed you guys a little bit, but what this is going to be is this is going to be really good habitat for things like grouse and hopefully pheasants and quail. So we have some grouse and we have some pheasants, and I'm looking at purchasing some quail and being able to release them here because I'd like to add some of the different ground birds back onto the property and such like that. So it's kind of the idea behind that as well. So yeah, you can see the trees are splitting and falling over the years. So these are some of my favorite trees. I love these trees. But as you guys can see right here down in this ditch, this is where part of there's a lot of springs and there's a lot of stuff that actually just whips through here. So, and you guys can see how the water has been eroding. So underneath us right now is the water actually flows and then goes that way. It kind of goes that way, turns that way, and then goes under the road and starts heading that way to a creek. This is all filled by there's about 3 springs here that keep this functioning. And I've got my pond up here, but we're going to show you 2 cool things that I have up here. So the first spot, we're going to walk right over there where these trees are split. I want to show you something that's really cool. So this is my swampland. So if you look right here, I don't know if you guys can see this, but after this tree fell, there is just this pond that started forming underneath the tree, and that's actually really deep there. And there's a lot of water. It doesn't even matter. It didn't even matter in the droughtiest drought part that we had. There was just a whole lot of water held up in there. So just really, really cool. So let's walk over here to the pond. I'll just jump across this log. Where the joke is the flat top marina. So you might be wondering why I've got a boat. One I like to recycle, and the boat doesn't have an engine or anything like that, just a frame. And so one day I might turn that into where I put my chickens, or I might actually build like a little platform on that and let people do camping on top of a boat. Because again, it's all about trying to give people different experiences, getting people out into the bush and just enjoying themselves. So there's a whole lot of work I need to do on the pond. As you guys can see, I sprung a leak, and so I have tires that I'm going to backfill and put into that. So here's my pond. It's very shallow here, but it'll get out to being about, we believe it's between 10 to 20 feet deep right there in about the middle. So I can hear Fernando just meowing at me. So it's fun fishing in the pond. It's a good fishing pond. Absolutely a good time fishing in here. So just absolutely enjoy it. So, and then some beautiful trees and some more wood. So yeah, no, this is a major project. It's a really, really, really big project that we need to be working on and such like that. So, and all that kind of good stuff. I'm gonna walk down, see my neighbor out. I wanna say something. I wanna say something to them to see, since they have a dog, and let them know they might wanna go for a walk up the mountain. If they did, I wanna go say something to them real fast. So, I know I don't feed the fish. Now, I don't really do anything too much with the fish. So everything is, I just kind of let them do their thing and such like that. So, there, Fernando meowing his face off behind me. Just wanted to know why I'm not keeping up with him. Mostly bass, bluegill, crappie, sunfish, really in general. We put a yellow perch in there last year. Didn't really do a whole lot. Haven't caught it. Haven't really seen it. I think there's a catfish or two in there, but I actually haven't I haven't got a chance to see the catfish. So I saw the buddy put the catfish in there, but that's about as far as I got. Didn't get a chance to actually do anything, like do any exploring with the catfish or see like what kind, if it was a channel cat or a blue cat or anything like that. I just know that he tossed it in there. Come on, Fernando. So I don't know, I think I might have missed them, but whatever. I mean, this is the easiest way back to the house anyways, so. Starting to get cold. Wind is, temperature is starting to drop. I can starting to see the, as you guys can see, sun is dropping. Still beautiful sky, but you can see there's some chemtrails being formed there. But this time of year, the sun just kind of sets right there. And while the mountain's up this way, you guys can kind of see where the horizon is, where you can see how the mountain is quite a bit higher than the horizon. So, oh, I'm gonna put this guy here. We're gonna hawk over. This is my choke cherry tree, guys. If you've not seen the choke cherry, this is my choke cherry tree. I harvested a bunch of cherries from this tree this year. They did a really good job. You're looking right at me. Sorry, I didn't realize I was standing right in front of the camera. Anyways. So yeah. Come on, Fernando! He's over there hiding in the weeds someplace. Yeah, choke cherries. So what choke cherries are is they're a fall cherry. They're really tiny. They're mostly seeds. They're mostly a seed, but they're really good for you. And so they make really good cough medicine. They make really good medicine. They're high in vitamin C and they're high in a lot of other stuff. So they're one of the native trees around here. So a lot of the native trees we allow them. I purposely try to foster a lot of the native trees and getting them to grow. And as crazy as it is, so this is the only thing I don't. This is the only downfall to where I live, is if you guys look closely. I don't know if you guys can see that one right there. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10. And then let me show you this one. You can't see it right now, but if you look really closely, you can see right there. If we zoom in, see it right there. That's the one downfall to where I live, is there's lots of, why are you doing that? Whatever. There's lots of cell towers. Okay, we're just gonna have to deal with the chat being in a weird angle now, because I don't know why the phone decided to make the chat go like that, but we're gonna see chat in a diagonal, so just forewarned. Anyways, so that's a downfall. I'm trying to figure out ways to counteract that. At least right now, none of that is 5G. So, and the good thing is that is a radio tower. That are only cell towers. That is a TV tower. That is right there is the fire tower, and that little one right there is the EMS radio towers and such like that. That's where the towers go to deal with making sure that the emergency services. That is the third highest spot. I think pretty much the third highest spot in the state of West Virginia. So that's part of the. Come on, Fernando. That's part of the reason why. That's part of the reason why there's so many towers and such up there. So that's the thing that I'm believing is the reason I don't have good bees. And as we walk back to the house, I gotta show you the bees. Oh, here's what's cool. I love when the field does this. When you can see the mountain, you can see the shadow of the mountain right there. So we're in the shadow of the mountain, and the sun is still penetrating over on the hillside and such right there. So still really cool. So again, can't have everything perfect. That's one of the downfalls. And the good thing is, I know this is going to sound silly to a lot of you, but as 5G becomes more and more popular, those cell towers will come down, because there is no reason because of the location of the cell towers. There's not going to be any reason to put 5G up into that particular area. So, you know, now starting January 1st, 3G is not going to be a thing here in the States. So once they turn off 3G, and then in a couple years they'll turn off 4G, and so all I got to do is wait those towers out, and most of those towers are going to be gone. Now, right there in that little nook, right there, let me see if I can zoom in and show you guys. Yeah, right there in that little nook, that's actually the top part of the ski resort, the Winter Place Ski Resort. That's right there. So, yeah, this is how you know. This is absolutely how you know you're a redneck or hillbilly. Got to make sure you got enough cars that don't run. So, those are all either my cars or my project cars. So, as we head around the back side of the house, getting ready to head in. Tractor's under a tarp right there. I'm going to show you the spot that I put the bees, and this spot seems to do a really, really good spot. It's protected from all the cell towers, so I think that's part of the reason why this is such a good spot. And we'll do everything it needs to do to protect my bees. They're actually doing really well. So, oh yeah, see, that was those cars. So I still got a car there. Those two cars run, and then that car there doesn't run. So, so here's my bees. So these two right here that've got the silver on it, those are the ones that have bees in them functioning, ready to go. So as outside right now, I have 3 hives. So quite a bit down from earlier this year, but still nice to have 3 hives. I have temperature gauges in there so I can watch the temperature. The reason I have this on the front is as the sun gets down there, it heats them up and it gives these guys a little extra heat. Got these guys elevated off the ground, and as you guys can see, there's insulation. There's insulation across the top and then all across the sides. So hopefully we should be good to go and give these guys the best. But as you guys can see here, because of the sandstone foundation of my house, these guys are not exposed. Right here, they're not exposed to any radiation or any EMF. So no EMF, because we've got, you know, the side of the house right here, so which is also sandstone stone. So you have all the stone here. All the towers would be equivalent of being that way. So you've got the entire house for it to go through. So since I can't put them underground just yet, which is a tactic that we're going to try in the near future, that is going to be one of the next, that's kind of the next best idea. So I'm going to head in. It's starting to get cold. I do want to show you guys one thing inside. Just because, again, some of you might not actually believe me when I say that I actually do have bees inside my house. So here we are going inside my house. So I do want to point out, right there is the computer that runs the thing. And if you look right in here, you can see bees moving around. This is the beehive. That's the beehive that I keep in my house. And then all of Lisa's plants and such up there. So anyways, friends, thank you guys for joining me. I had a good time. That's a lot of junk behind me because I'm rearranging stuff, so we'll move it this way so you won't see as much of the junk. Because that's one thing, guys, is that there's always projects, there's always junk sitting around. So yeah, there's almost no place on the property and my phone doesn't work. But it's not directly affecting them. That's actually, I have a RF meter, and that spot has to be one of the lower spots where I'm not really crazy bombarded with cell signals or anything like that. So that's part of the idea behind that. So yeah, projects everywhere. There's always a project. The one thing you're going to learn about having a lot of free time and being a farmer or being a homesteader or just getting that kind of stuff, you are always working on. You're always working on something. There's always a new project that you're working on. There's always something crazy or fun. Sometimes they're really fun. So But sometimes there's great stuff. Yeah, the RF meter. I have 2 different RF meters. I go around, I check everything. I know where to plant. I use it mostly for plants and animals and where I'm going to spend most of my time. Because if I'm going to sit around outside or I'm going to sit around and do something, I'd like to find the spot that is the safest to sit. Since I can't get rid of that, there's no way I can get rid of that. And during the winter months, the trees aren't really shielding me that much from that. At least if I can get something, I can find the exact spots to not be sitting or to not be spending most of my time. And so kind of gather everything around that. That's kind of what we do, kind of the plan, just to, always trying different things, always trying. It's all about experiments here. That's mainly what we do here on the farm, is always trying to do different experiments, trying to give you guys real life advice, showing you what I do, why I do it, if I think things work, if I think things are crap, if I think things are good ideas, or if I think they're bad ideas. We're all going to try it. We're going to see if it works, and I'm going to tell you what I know from practical experience. Because everything, you can read a lot, and there's a lot of great people out there that trying to give you good advice, but not everything seems to do what it needs to do. So anyways, guys, remember tonight, 10 o'clock Eastern time, we'll be doing a show. Mostly going to be talking about Christmas and the holidays and just good times. Just going to be a really good around hangout time. There'll be a Jitsi link for anybody that wants to come in and voice chat and such like that. Other than that, you can hang out in the Discord. You can hang around in the DLive, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook. We'll all be around. Again, it'll probably be a typical long show, so we'll be staying up late. We'll be also I'll teach you guys how to make flip. For those that's never had flip before, I'll teach you guys how to make flip. And other than that, thank you guys for the fun adventures. My name's Doc, !Discord, if you want to join our community and hang out with us and that kind of stuff. And other than that, I'll see you guys tonight. And if you want to follow another farm tour and such like that, probably do it in a couple days. Till tomorrow, next day, tonight, whenever I see you guys again, it's Doc. Hope you guys have a wonderful rest of the day. Adios.